Hello, flag checking in, and welcome to my first weekend reflection. This is a new thing I'm doing every other weekend. Anything that's on my mind that doesn't quite fit my vlogs or anything else I'm working on, I'll post one of these reflections or discussion pieces. So bear with me, I write down all my thoughts on pieces of paper, so I'll be reading from a script. But anyway, let's get to it. While I was cleaning out my closet, I found this box. It's full of memories from my first real relationship, the one that's changed me in ways that I'm still processing. And seeing this brought back a lot of feelings, some happy and some painful. And I'd like to take a moment today to talk through some of it. And this box reminds me of our first picnic we had together. And I felt like the luckiest man alive. I never could have imagined that things would end the way that they did. Just a quick disclaimer so I can cover all my bases. I would like to state first that this isn't the full story of what's happened. It's just what's most relevant to this reflection. There is one incident I chose not to mention because ultimately it didn't change anything. I also have to acknowledge that breakups are rarely one person's fault. I've reflected long and hard on all of this, and I can see some ways in which I might have contributed as well. I want to make something clear. She has her own side of the story. We both have our own perceptions of how things went down. I'm doing my best to share this honestly from my perspective. Love can feel like the best thing that's ever happened to you, until it's not. Hello everyone. This video is for those of you who have loved and lost, and for anyone feeling lonely today, or just for those of you who want to watch my content. Today I'll share with you a story about a chapter in my life, a fairly recent chapter. And to be honest, for some context, I've never been lucky in love. I didn't have my first girlfriend until I was 20, and she was my first everything. I was hers as well. And in many ways it felt perfect, like we could read each other's minds. For the first time I understood what real love is. We started as friends, and she confessed first, thank God. And a few months later I really started to realize I too felt the same way. And for 3 years we remained strong. There were ups and downs for sure, like there is in any relationship, but I never thought it would end. I truly believed this was the person I'd marry one day. One day, seemingly out of nowhere, I got a text. It was the 4 words that no one ever wants to see. We need to talk. Then came a long message, one that ended everything. She said she was busy and that she'd lost the connection that she felt between us. My heart shattered, and my world stopped. She did say she wanted to be friends, however. Like a fool, I thought I could win her back, and I'm sure a lot of us have been there. I would write long messages trying to reason, trying to reach her. And her replies just became more and more spaced out. And she kept making excuses to end conversations early or just not to talk, which was something I was kind of in denial about at the moment. But I gave her space here and there, and one day I decided to do a grand gesture. I sent her flowers. And that made things worse. She said we needed to stop talking permanently. I felt a lot of emotions in the aftermath. Sadness, anger, grief, and even a sense of betrayal. The person who promised to always stick by my side and remain in my life as a friend to help me was effectively gone forever. And after all this was said and done, I was gutted. I lay on my couch for weeks. No appetite and no motivation. I thought I'd never be happy again. It was only by dragging myself to the gym and leaning on my support system that I started feeling remotely human again. And this took a really long time. There were moments where there's second waves. I would relapse. I would see things that reminded me of her. A lot of things that would just seemingly set my progress back again. And if you're in that place right now, I get it. That kind of loss hits deeper than people realize, especially those who haven't really gone through it. But those small acts of self-care, those are the first bricks to rebuilding yourself. And you won't always feel your best, even months, even after a year or two. It will come in waves. You will think about all the what ifs. This is perfectly fine. What's important is you do the best that you can. Your timeline for healing might be longer or shorter than someone else's, and that's perfectly okay. And just a word of advice here, don't listen to anyone trying to sell you an X-back solution. These coaches prey on the vulnerable for their own financial gain. I'm not saying there isn't good advice out there, but this can all be found in these people's videos more often than not. The best thing you can do as the person who was dumped is stay in no contact unless the other person reaches out. But every situation is different. That is truly the best course of action, though. Shout out to Craig Kenneth and the Love Chat. Their content helped me a lot when I was really going through the worst. And here is where I made a mistake. Despite knowing deep down that I shouldn't reach out and being advised not to by several people, there came a time 9 months later where I decided to send an email saying what I needed to say. In fact, it was a voice recording. And honestly, I didn't expect a response, despite how much I desired one, but I was still a little disappointed. But ultimately, I did it for my own peace of mind. But now I was sure that I left nothing unsaid. More than 2 years have passed since we stopped talking, and even now it still gets to me sometimes. How could someone who loved me so deeply once just avoid me like the plague now? Maybe even hate me or resent me, or worse, show complete indifference. Sometimes it's as if I want to say to her, if any part of you believed I was worth saving, I hope you held on to that, even if you never say it aloud. I won't wait around, but I'd be lying if I said I won't always wish for one final honest conversation, not to change anything, but just to understand. I know you've moved on, and I wish it came as easily for me. Hearts don't break evenly, and 2 years isn't long in the grand scheme of life, but it's been enough to reshape mine. Still, I'd like to thank you, not for the hurt, but for the growth that followed. I became a better man in ways that I never expected. I've always hated the phrase moving on. For me, moving forward feels more honest. Maybe I'm just a forgiving soul, someone who still tries to see the best in others, but you never really know what turns life might take. I'm not saying I expect a reunion or that I'm even waiting around for one. Far from it. But there's one thing life has taught me, and it's to accept all possibilities. I don't mind revisiting the past. It's what molded me. What matters is that I learn from it and not live in it. And that's what moving forward means to me. Not everyone gets the ending they want, or even the one they feel they deserve. Life is under no obligation to be fair. It just is what it is, and we have to do the best with the situations we find ourselves in. But maybe without that heartbreak, I wouldn't be here today. Maybe I wouldn't have met the friends I made or started this journey of self-improvement. Maybe I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So wherever you are, whether you're healing, reflecting, or keeping busy, know that pain might be the thing that wakes you up to the person you're meant to become. I don't need to carry all this around anymore. The memories stay with me, but the weight, that's mine to release. This is part of my past, but it doesn't define my future. I'm the one rebuilding my life now. I mean, I've got my projects, my passions, my creative work. Those are my focus, and they're showing that growth is possible even after a loss.